Hello everyone! Today I want to show you how I do rust effects when painting Nerf blasters. I use different colors, acrylic paint from Tamiya and mild paint from Revell. You need brushes and some kind of sponge or form. This is a packaging form. The blaster I will be painting is a minimized stryfe I did a while ago, but I wasn't satisfied with the black paint job, so I decided to do something more with it. And yeah, you start by putting some color on the sponge or form, and then just dip the blaster. Try to think of where real rust would sit, the edges and grooves and so on. Just dip different patterns of paint all over the blaster. For details and holes and grooves, I also use a paintbrush. Just like that. And then you continue with the next color. This is the mild color from Revell. I don't really like the Revell colors, but they have a very authentic rust tone, and so I use it anyway. Yeah, and just do the same all over again. Third color is a brown tone from Tamiya, and the combination of these three colors makes for these rust effects. The cool thing is you can do this just a little on the edges and so on, or you can go crazy like I do in this video and make a plaster that looks like it was lying in the woods for 400 years. I then decided to make another round with the strong orange, because I used a little too much of the brown tone. But this time just a little. It's always good to use new pieces of the form now and then to make for different patterns, and also turn the pieces of sponge or form while you're dipping. And if you want to stop here and if you're satisfied with that, then you have to go and dry brush the edges with some silvertone or metal tone. I use I think it's called matte silver from Tamiya, because even on a rusty thing like that, on the edges and scratches, the bare metal would shine through. And to simulate that, you just go over the edges with some metal tone. But if you want to do the thing with the salt and the hairspray, then you can skip this part right now, because you then have to do it later on. So, for the next step you need some sort of hairspray and salt. I use salt with big grains, and then I smash some of it to get different sizes. Just like that. Now comes the messy part, because you have to get some of the hairspray into a can or a cup. I do this under the table not to mess up the place. Yeah, and then with a brush you apply thick layers of hairspray, but only to the spots you want the rust effect to shine through the final layer of paint. And then you just take the salt and put it on those spots. Unfortunately, at exact that moment, the battery of my camera died. So here's the finished plaster. After it dried, you can shake off the loose salt grains. And it's also a good idea to take a dry brush and brush away the dust, the salt dust, between that spots. And then you can go ahead and apply the last, the final layer of paint. I decided to go with natto green from Tamiya spray paint. And I applied 2 layers of it. And that looks like that. So when the paint has dried, you can go ahead and take a darker color. I take black, and also kind of dry brush that new applied green paint job to make it look used and abused. But again, use only very little paint on the brush, and go all over all edges and the whole plaster. So now it's time to get rid of the salt. the bigger chunks you can just rub away with your fingers. Or scratch it with your fingernails. And in addition, you use, or I use, warm water that slowly melts the salt away, and the rust effect is coming through the paint. And you can also use a toothpick for the grooves and holes to get rid of all the salt. And now again, as I said before, it's time to dry brush the edges. To make it look like bare metal coming through the rust and the paint job and everything. I guess most of you know how to do this, but just in case, you apply very little paint to a brush, to a dry brush, and then you just gently go over all the edges and make these fake scratches. So, then you're finished. Almost. Because what's left to do is apply 2 coats of clear coat. I always start with glossy clear coat at first. Because glossy clear coat cures a little harder and gives better protection. I also make that a little thicker layer, because I want my paint jobs to last. And the second layer is satin or matte clear coat, just for the looks. Now some pictures of the finished plaster. I hope you like it. Thanks for watching and good luck with your future projects. Bye bye.